Presentation, I thought 5 minutes we can certainly speak about what we do. So, well, we sit in a very interesting space, and every conference that I go to, I think we are the most relevant partner to everybody who's trying to do something in this world. In the sense, whether you are an established corporate, or you're an entrepreneur, or you're a startup, where you need to monetize. And we sit in that space. We sit in the payment solution space. We ourselves are, well, an innovation. So I represent Itzcash card, which is a prepaid card launched in India, pioneered in India by us. And I have been associated with this company since its inception for about 7 years. Itzcash is basically a thought product. It all happened one day when the chairman of the group, well, in the group we have many companies, and one of the companies is the ZTV television and the other is the Dish TV. So one day the chairman said, Dish TV has reached the rural heart of India, so they can beam the entertainment. But the big question was, how do you collect money? And collect money from whom? That profile of the user of Dish TV was the farmer. So how does one collect money from the farmer? And if there is no subscription coming month after month, well, there is no entertainment. And in the rural India, the only thing important is entertainment by television. Nothing else is there. So it was one evening when it was said, mobiles have penetrated right down to the rural India. Can we collect subscription of a mobile? So Itzcash started truly as an m-commerce company. How do you collect subscription? That was the innovation which we really picked a leaf from what the telecom operators had done. They had this paper voucher, which was nothing but a 16-digit number, with which you could buy a specific value talk time. So we said that is the user experience. So let's stick to that. Let's not get into the swipe card and those traditional things that you would think of as a payment product when you sit in a metro and think. So we said, if the farmer can use a paper voucher to recharge his mobile, can we just teach him to use an Itzcash paper voucher to recharge his DTH? So that's how the whole story started. And when we actually created this product, we were sitting in a conference room and wondering, what do you do with this? How do you get it to the market? So it's okay, the farmer can recharge his DTH like he recharges his mobile, but how do you reach it to the market? So that was the second innovation on the distribution. So if there is a category called fast-moving consumer goods, which is called FMCG, this is fast-moving financial services. So we own and create this term, fast-moving financial services. So this was a product we distributed over an FMCG network. We appointed a 2-tier distribution system because we are a prepaid model and there cannot be a credit risk in our model. So we appointed a 2-tier distribution system where the distributor pre-funded the account with us, and the retailers were hooked on through various technology interfaces to our system to transact to the limit that the retailer has paid to the distributor. So our relationship at one level was only with the distributor, not with the retailer. But the relationship with the retailer was at the technology level, where he could only use value to the extent he has paid the distributor, his distributor. So we in that sense protected the distributor's interest as well. So that was about 7 years ago. So having created this, having tested this, having started from the grassroots, which no company ever starts, you start with the best case situation. Marketing teaches you to start with the product fit, brand fit, profile fit. But I think we disobeyed every such learning and we started from where nobody would ever dare to start. So today, m-commerce for a group company, Dish TV, is about 250 crores on a mobile. That's the collection we do from rural India. Why say it is true m-commerce? Because so far m-commerce has been understood as wallpapers downloads, music downloads, CRBD downloads, which you pay through talk time. Now, commerce is a concept which really is with a legal tender, associated with a legal tender. So now that we are approved by RBI, in a way, Itzcash is equivalent to a legal tender, although it's not really the form of money that we see. So anything that can be purchased with a legal tender, multiple goods and services, is actually true commerce. VAS, in that sense, through talk time as a payment method, in that sense, has vacated that space of being called as M-commerce. So what did we create? And how did we go forward? So we created actually a payment system which was equivalent to a Master and Visa payment system. The only difference was Master and Visa was a payment system that was created for the banks and the banking system was hooked to it. In our case, we created it, we owned it, we authenticated the transaction. The bank's transaction are authenticated by Master Visa, but we authenticated our own transactions and we also did the settlement. So we were completely like a bank and Master Visa operation, but a proprietary network. So having created this network, this architecture, well, beyond the group company, then let's really test it. So how do you test it? How do you expand? So we were wondering that there will be two classes of customers. One is for technology very comfortable and can use the mobile and the internet to transact. And then there will be a class of customer who will always be challenged, looking at the demographics of the country. So as the next innovation in distribution, we created a franchisee system. A franchisee system is nothing but an assisted service model where a customer can walk into a franchisee and get his transactions done by payment of cash. So if somebody wanted, let's say, a DTH recharge and he cannot do it on his own just because he's not educated or he's not comfortable on the technology, so he could walk into a franchisee, say he wants to recharge a Tata Sky or a Dish TV, and the franchisee would do it for him and he would pay cash, he would get receipt. So the franchisee also was hooked onto a prepaid model. Now, this innovation, technology possible, but initially we did not have really a taker for this. And we were a company who were small by, let's say, the concept investment standard size of the company, but we were part of a very large group. So the SL group, as it is called, it has about 11 companies. Many of them are world leaders in the marketplace. So we went to the railways, and that's the next innovation or a paradigm shift we sold to the Indian Railways. We said, what do you do as a concept, as a generic concept at your station windows where you deliver tickets? They were delivering electronic tickets through the web. You are doing an intranet delivery of tickets. So we said, why don't you shift it to the internet? And that's the time Railways was creating the web-based portal, which the Indians know here, www.irctc.co.in. But the biggest problem they had was chargebacks through the credit cards actually. Debit cards, I'm talking about 2004, 2005, but not really so much in vogue. So the only reason why we got in was they said, can you guarantee payments? And can you sign in writing? We said yes. We guaranteed the payments because we were prepaid, which no bank can guarantee, and no credit card can guarantee. And so we got it. So we delivered electronically in 2,000 towns a railway ticket which railways themselves would never be able to deliver. So that was the trigger and that was the innovation to create the franchisee model. And today we have a network of about 2 lakh retailers and about 60,000 these franchisees all over the country. So having created these two basic, let's say, sample or let's say exemplary use cases, then I think the world was open for us. So then we moved on ahead to get the Vodafones, the Airtels, the Ideas, the Telecom. We got the energy merchants on board. We got the shopping, all the internet shopping, all the e-commerce sites, all the travel partners. So if, let's say, 14% is the increase in online travel, I would say at least 13% V-power. So that's the power of the solution that we have created. And we have about 10,000 merchant partners. But we didn't rest there. Having created a position for us as a payment solution provider or as a payment gateway, we further thought one step ahead generically. So what have we created? So we said we have created conceptually a person who walks in to my franchisee, pays money and gets something delivered. So we said, can we extend this to corporates? Because the corporates channel partners, they also make payments. And wherever there is cash intensive payments, there is going to be a pain point for the corporate to have it collected transparently, have it collected which can be audited, and also the MI is generated in good time or real time for that money to be actually enjoying some interest in his bank account. So we extended this concept, and the first project, which was the next innovation, we got is the toll tax, the octroi tax collection in Bombay. Octroi is a kind of a tax in Bombay where a truck has to pay this tax for entering various points in Bombay when the trucks move interstate, for the rest of the audience. So we are proud to say that today 30,000 truck drivers in Bombay carry card powered by us, and the whole octroi system in one segment of materials, which was the pilot, which is about 400 crores annually for us, is cashless. So a profile of a truck driver, completely literate, uses prepaid technology to tap and go, and you would be surprised that the revenue of the local government body, which is for the Indians, MCGM, has increased by 400%. That was a leakage. Leakage revenue got arrested. So this project we had done free of cost, because this project we had done about 4 years ago. So we had to prove our credentials in the market. And I think now we have been really profitable in this product. We have recovered all the investments. Going ahead, we had another case of Municipal Corporation of Delhi, who had used to have great rush for payment of property taxes, especially on those last 10 days. So they wanted to use our solution. So this franchisee network that we have, about 60,000, 70,000 odd franchisees, today does that collection. Of course, relevant to Delhi, there would be about 10,000 franchisees. So they do the collection, and the collection at our franchise is about 70%. Moving further, another kind of a derivative innovation. You have these energy meters installed in every home, where you use the electricity. It is registered in that meter, and then there's a meter reader who comes, and then you're billed at the end of the month. So it works very well for people who want to be good citizens and pay for the consumption of electricity. But India is a different country. So if you can get anything free, then why not? So there was a lot of revenue loss to these energy boards, because there are many people who did use electricity by just connecting their houses right directly from the poles, and that's very innovative in India. So they wanted to arrest that. So they were toying with an idea of a prepaid energy meter, and they had, I think, a partner from Netherlands who was developing this for them, which they have done in Netherlands, but in India they were struggling a bit. So it's just that one day we have a relationship with NDPL, which is the energy body in Delhi. They called us, what can we do with a prepaid? And In about 6 months' time, we had the prepaid energy meters ready. So it works on our payment mechanism. As long as there is charge, your fridge will work, your television will work. The moment the charge becomes zero, your light switch off in the house. So since nobody wants to enter a dark house, so they do ensure that the prepaid meters are always funded. Of course, this project is still very small because of various legacy issues or government issues, it's not really taken off. But as a technology, as an innovation, we have proved that a prepaid has a far better position in the country like India than a credit debit card. And there is a reason for it, because by RBI's, the central bank's own statistics, there are only 3% of the Indians who actually own credit cards. And if you add the debit cards, it's not more than 12%. And the country is 100 billion. So let's say 20%, knock off another 30% for people who would not come on such a platform so easily because of illiteracy issues, etc. So 50% of the country, 50 billion people is my market size. And what do these 100 billion people spend? They spend $700 billion US annually. That's the cash transactions happen in the country. So that's the opportunity for any prepaid player in the country. We are just about 3,000 crores. Well, I didn't convert it in US dollars, but 3,000 crores. So there's a long way for us to go, and there's a good space for anybody else to come into the market. But this business is all about trust. This business is all about transparency. This business is all about delivering every day, every transaction. So the Indians here would know that Itzcash has never advertised in the country in 7 years. So how are we a 3,000 crore company? Well, we knew right from the beginning that it's a very education intensive concept, because the moment you start talking about a transaction product in the form of a rectangle, the first understanding it is a credit debit card. So we didn't want to get misunderstood as one more credit debit card player in the country. We wanted to establish ourselves as a prepaid player. But we had no way to package the card except in the familiar rectangular style that a credit debit card is packaged. So we followed and the second factor was trust. Who trusts on a payment transaction or a cash transaction? So what if you are part of the SL group, a very big group backed by a very big group? So we said the closest trust factor to a consumer is his next door mom and pop shop, the neighborhood shop from where you buy your groceries. So we created these grocers as the franchisees actually. So if you are close by, you can do an SMS based message and you will get who's the closest franchisee in your PIN code. So you'll get at least minimum 10 of them. So these franchisees or these retailers or these mom and pop shops actually told their walk-in footfalls who regularly buy groceries, this is the card, this is what it does, and this is how you can top up, because you see, you need to educate somebody how to use it. So that's the route we followed, and I think in hindsight, it was quite a discussion initially back in 2004, 2005, but it just proved right for us. And today, we are in a position in the market where we are a very important player in the ecosystem, sitting between telcos and the banks. We are at the point where the government would be looking at us for their electronic benefits transfer to manage it on the ground, because you can transfer the funds, but how do you encash it? The encashment will happen at my franchisee points. So we are sitting at that point in the market today, or in the history of the company, or the journey of the company. And we operate in all the three categories allowed by the central bank: the closed, the semi-closed, the open loop. The open loop, we have just done the program with our partner sitting here, DCB Bank, which is another innovation where a customer can buy this product of a retail shop. So he does not need to go to a bank, because I am in the mass market. I serve the underbanked and the unbanked. People like us will always find use cases for this product. But the larger objective why we exist is the underbanked, unbanked, and he's not going to go to a bank. No bank would want a sweating auto driver, a taxi driver, rubbing shoulders with his high-profile customer. So that's the customer we are very eager to cater. And that's where almost 90% of the $700 billion gets spent in cash. And this customer is going to buy this open loop card done with DCB and with IDBI as another partner. So DCB and Visa.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but we're kind of running tight on.
Yes, I'm just through, just the last. So this is the open loop program which will truly get us into the B2C space. And then once this product is in the hands, I think e-commerce, m-commerce is going to take a different route in this country. And because it will enable a larger section of the society. And that's the, let's say, the true potential to electronify transactions in this country. Thank you so much.